Good morning and welcome to week 3 of PA117. And this week we're actually in chapter 3. We're talking about Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act of 1938. And I have to apologize because I just looked at the syllabus and it said that we're only going through page 29, but actually your discussion question and also your assignment has to do with subjects that are later in the chapter. So I wanted to point that out to you here in the lecture. So chapter 3 actually starts on page 19, and it really talks about some of the things we already talked about in chapter 2, like misbranding, that kind of thing. Something I really wanted to point out to you was on chapter 22, and this is the label in your drug facts. Get to know this very well. Whenever I go into a pharmacy now and I'm looking for over-the-counter medications, this is the first thing that I'm looking at. And a lot of people don't even look at this when they're looking at over-the-counter medications. Something that I want you to look at is the active ingredients. As a pharmacy technician, you will know the active ingredients very well. So say you have a patient coming in to look at cold medications and they have symptoms like headache and runny nose. So what they're looking for in an active ingredient is a pain reliever, maybe like acetaminophen, which we know is Tylenol, and something to help with the runny nose, which could be cold medication, and it would tell you its purpose right beside it. So an antihistamine would actually may be something that they want. This is the active ingredient in this. That could be the source of the runny nose. They probably don't want Mucinex, which would help congestion. So you really want to look what the active ingredient is so you're not overdosing the patient. You're giving them what they need for the symptoms that they have. Because a lot of people get all of these multi-ingredient drugs and be taking them, and maybe it has Benadryl in it, what is making them tired, but they didn't talk to you about needing anything to sleep. They're just needing something during the day. So you want to make sure that you're looking at that. And then the other thing is what the interactions with the products that they are. When using this product, you may get drowsy. Don't drink any alcohol. Don't take medications that are high blood pressure, those type of things. And then also the directions of, if you're an adult, you can take it this way. If you're a child, you can take it this way. So you want to know who it's for. So those drug labels are drug facts on the back of the box are really important to know. So make sure that you familiarize yourself with those things there. Okay, so I'm going to skip to page, I think it's 34. And we're going to talk about compounding versus manufacturing because that is your discussion question. And it is on page 34, compounding versus manufacturing. As a routine part of the dispensing process, pharmacies often compound. Compound means to make up products as specifically ordered by a prescriber, like topical creams, ointments. They can make solutions. They can add flavoring to kids' medications, those type of things. When there is no commercial product that fits the patient's need, this routine prescription compounding is sometimes questioned. When is a pharmacy simply filling legitimate prescription request, and when is it called manufacturing, or an activity that requires a different license from the Drug Enforcement Administration or the DEA number? To clarify this question, the FDA issued compounding guidelines to help both pharmacies and law enforcement officials determine when a pharmacy has crossed the line into manufacturing. Any of the following activities are considered to be those of manufacturing. So soliciting business to compound products, compounding regularly or in excessively large amount products that are commercially available and are essentially generic copies of the commercially available product, using commercial sale equipment, compounding exclusively large amounts of product in anticipation of receiving valid prescriptions, offering compounded product at wholesale prices with the intent for them to be resold at retail prices, or distributing excessively large amounts of compounded products. A few other conditions also apply, but those listed above are the main concerns for a pharmacy. Note that compounded products to fill a prescription is perfectly legal. as is making a batch of something to more easily fill prescriptions that are expected to be received in the near future. The 6 situations listed are beyond the scope of filling prescriptions or preparing for expected prescriptions. So let me just put a little discussion out there. I know of a couple compounding pharmacies. I actually used to work for a compounding pharmacy that compounded for the St. Louis Zoo. And he would get prescriptions all the time that were for, like the elephants. They would need a specific suppository, or they would need a specific medication, and that would require him to make large amounts. Now that's okay, because he was given a prescription for that, and he was told to make that from a prescription. So that does not necessarily mean that he made a large amount and he was going to sell it. And he didn't sell it for a wholesale price. He actually sold it for his retail price of how much it took for him to make that product. So your discussion is really asking, where is the difference? When are they going above and beyond? And so those 6 different things that they just listed there is something that you could discuss and say, this is when you're going above and beyond. There are so many compounding pharmacies out there because doctors now are saying, hey, they can't take that kind of medication. Maybe we should make it a topical cream, or they can't use that kind of stuff. So make sure that that's what you point out in your discussion, is that you've listed some of those different reasons. And you can even give a scenario like I just did. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because it is on your assignment, is recalls, and it is on page 39. Again, I apologize that this is out of the scope of what your syllabus said, but you want to just go ahead and jump to the recalls. It says, unfortunately, sometimes after a drug has been approved, it is widespread use, adverse effects and events become significant, and the NDA studies suggest, so the FDA may suggest the drug manufacturer recall a product or even order it to do so. Recalls are classified according to the severity, and it gives 3 classes here. Class 1 recall is for product that might cause serious or fatal consequences. A Class 2 recall is for the product that may cause serious but reversible adverse effects. And Class 3 recall is for a problem that is not likely to cause adverse health consequences. So 3 meaning less severe, 1 meaning most severe. This classification method is also used when a manufacturing or distribution problem causes a drug to be adulterated, such as when a product was stored or shipped improperly, or during the manufacturing process they noticed, oops, something was added differently. Depending on how widely distributed and how potentially harmful the problem is, many methods can be used to notify the public of the recall. There's also television, printed warnings, letter, the pharmacy, the hospitals. The general public is rarely informed of drug recall, mostly because there are few Class 1 or Class 2 recalls. Almost all are Class 3. Recalls caused by contamination, improper contents, wrong amounts, or storage. And so if a pharmacy knows, they'll actually run a report and they'll say, oh, yeah, who in the last 30 days received this drug? And then they will contact them and say, hey, stop taking the medication. I need to refill it for you with a different medication. And that's how they usually get it out. They don't tell the general public because, like they said, there's not a lot of Class 1 and Class 2 recalls. So I hope this has helped you a little bit understand your assignment and your discussion. Please, again, let me know if I can help in any way this week. I hope you have a great week and talk with you soon.